In a new lawsuit, attorneys for 24-year-old Rust armorer Hannah Gutierrez-Reed say they now know how live rounds got on the Western set. The complaint against PDQ Arm and Prop, owned by Seth Kenney, alleges the company supplied the production with real bullets. The ammunition boxes failed to state a material fact. The contents contained both dummy and live ammunition, which were deceptively sold.
Why this thing stops rattling.
Is it an old one?
No, this is one of the 50 that I gave the show.
All right.
With the nickel framers.
This is the box that was recovered.
Yeah, those are Swanson's. JS is Joe Swanson, and that's dummies. So, I mean, that's definitely, it's not what I provided because mine was handwritten. But, I mean, in the end, again, it doesn't matter because we have to assume everything is live on all the belts and everything that somebody has slipped in rounds. You know what I mean?
Right. So yeah. So here's like the side view. So some have holes, and then you have. Yeah.
So it's just a disaster. So this box is not indicative of anything. This is just. This might have come from the Nick Cage movie. I might have provided this previously on the Nick Cage movie. It's entirely possible. I don't remember. Because once it goes out of custody, though, what's what? I mean, you have no idea what it is.
People can be missing all this up.
Yeah, so then...
So here's like a close-up of it's just going up a little bit more.
Yeah, now... I've got a funny, weird, I've got an eye thing. I've got keratoconus, so like the light bounces around, so I can't really quite see. Okay, so we've got some punch primers in there, which again, unless they rattle, they're a problem. And it's the fact that they're all mixed up is just lack of organization, right? Normally, you definitely put the punched ones in like together. Yeah, and then, but these all look to be, well, there's one nickel one right there, right? And the rest of them, and the way these pockets are open is just weird too. If I saw them, but they look to me like, all right, let me go line by line. That's okay. Starline, I see the arc there, arc.
I think they all had. I don't think there's any that didn't have.
They're all Starline? Okay, so I thought originally you said there might have been some Winchesters in there or
Not
something.
in this box.
And some of the other ones. Okay, so, yeah, and these, that's a sale thing. Some of his and the gun belts had that. I never do that. I never have those. And I don't think Billy Ray does either.
Okay. Yeah, so these two were on the top of the cart.
Okay.
These are suspected live.
Interesting. So they didn't shake, they didn't rattle. They look to be the same bullet. This taper looks different than this taper on these, right? So the one thing is that it's very odd to have live ammo with a Starline. Like, I don't know where you would even find this stuff, right? Okay, so that was the tell.
Yeah.
When you asked me, and I said, no, Joe Swanson doesn't sell, he doesn't he doesn't sell ammo. And it was something I thought about, and then it dawned on me something that happened 2 years ago. So that's what I wanted you to talk to the DA about, trying to keep.
Him or whoever.
Yeah, I don't know. When I talked to him, in the back of his head, he goes, I wondered what would the chances be? And I said, well, do you have any load data on it? And he says, nope. And he goes, he told me what. I go, what powder you would have used? Trail, and he said Trail Boss and one other one. I wrote it down, and then I snapped a picture of it. So then I got to thinking, well, I think I know where there is some still. And I called him up, and he goes, yeah, I have 1.5 boxes.
Okay.
So if we back it up, again, it doesn't matter, even if you can't connect all these dots,
right.
She still didn't do her job, and the AD still
which she
totally
will
screwed
be,
up.
Yeah, I mean, at least that would answer the question of
where did it come
where
from?
in the world.
Yeah, and bring a lot. I mean, I don't think there's anything such as closure. I mean, as far as
that was the fire ground.
That's the one. And that was the other thing I thought of as well, which was they never asked me for spent shells. Right? Never. There was never an instance where they said, oh, we should probably have some spent shells as well.
And there's of them.
I asked them to, spent shells in her kit and stuff.
I don't know if it was in the kit or the belts or all.
They were all over the place. It
might have just been like in a bag. I don't.
Okay, so the reason why that is because her dad has drilled it into her, save all the shells for reloading. And there's a box. I have a box, too. It's not really telling, other than there's a whole bunch of coincidences. I'm like, all right, well, that connects to this connects to that. I found a live round in my van, which was weird, and I want to give it to you. It's not a period thing. It's a wicked hollow point from the 45 long Colt. And I was looking for my wallet. I'm like, where did I put my wallet? I couldn't find my wallet. And so I started tearing through it. And on Dale's side of, the news van, under a thing of motor oil, just in case, you never know, right? And I look down there, and I'm like, oh, there's a dummy round. And I pick it up, and I look at it, and I'm like, whoa, what is that? And it's, like a self-defense whole thing. And I shake it immediately, and I was like, oh, fucking fail. Dude, don't leave live rounds in my van, right? And that's what happens, the shit that happens. And so anyway, his DNA and fingerprints are going to be on that round and other stuff that I have. Now, he's not related to Hannah. He's her dad, but they're not related.
They aren't?
Mm-mm. No, he was off on a movie set, and his wife went out on him. But he never questioned that, she was ever. That's why they have different names.
Okay, but it's not his biological kid.
Yeah, so if you get DNA from one or the other, it's not gonna. Right. It's not gonna match.
Well, yeah, I know. Yeah. So this was, and this is what was I saying that we have some random things. Yeah, there's no.
I mean, that was the only thing. I was like, well, no, Joe doesn't sell. There's just no way. Like Billy Ray would have got or anything else.
That was on a belt that we had found.
That's weird. Is this a Hornady? It says 45. Have you identified it?
I'm sure.
Century? Does it say Century? Spain? Oh, it's a plastic one.
That's plastic?
It's plastic.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. That's junk. They don't rattle because they're just plastic.
They're like heavy.
I don't know. Yeah, they might be cast. They're junk. It's I don't mind if I use my phone. It's it's Dentex or hold on.
DNTX.
Yeah, let's see. Spain replicas. No, Spanish. Here we go. Denix, D-E-N-I-X. Yeah, they're, yeah, okay, I'm accepting your cookies. Yeah, they're a Spanish maker. They do a bunch of stuff, historical weapons, and, yeah.
It's totally fake.
Totally fake. Yeah, there's no way it can never ever be loaded. I mean, you know, ghetto loaded, yeah, maybe, you know, let's see. And not only that, I mean, I could get you some if you wanted, because, let's see, catalog here. There's Western, American, okay, it's loading. Yeah, that's nothing at all. And from talking to Sarah, that's it. Oh, it's getting larger.
But.
Yeah, not anything.
Okay.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, and I think it had like that line down the side of it.
Oh, it did, yeah, like a forming or casting line or
Yeah.
something. Yeah. Yeah, I don't like them because, oh yeah, there it is. Yeah, you're right. Especially in the bullet too.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, that's not anything. That's weird. I don't remember ever seeing the indentation like that on them. Yeah, I could give you samples though. I mean, then the panic. They're not bad, but the fact that they don't rattle is unsettling. Yeah, it has to have a rattle. If it doesn't rattle, it's out. And even that, you like gotta test it.
Yeah. So that was the one. This one was the one that was.
And it looks like that right there.
Yes.
So, you know, I mean the.
Like, there's just so many with like the nickel type, but I mean, some of them, like you said, like these ones, I believe, didn't have a rattle.
Mm-hmm.
I think one on the belt didn't have a rattle.
Mm-hmm.
And then.
Well, Sarah said she went through like half the box, and she found, I don't know, maybe she was in a state of shock and panic, right? So, well, you know, this is the other thing too, is his name's already going to come out because of this, right? So it's not, you know, big deal if you load it. I mean, as a friend, you load ammo for a friend. It's not, there's no federal or state or local violation, so it's not that big a deal.
Right.
So, okay, big deal. He doesn't care. He's just like set to retire, and anyways, it's not going to make a difference to his business. I mean, he does great stuff, and he doesn't put live ammunition out on shows. Is it going to be as much as my name kind of be like, oh yeah, that's the guy? Yeah, it's like that. That's the dirty MRFer that how dare he do what he does and provide guns to movies and television shows. So, but that's the kind of, you know, we're just in it. So it is what it is.
Well, and that'll be the media more than anything.
It will be. I mean, but a reporter asked me, she's like, how's your reputation? I'm like, thank you. That's exactly what I need to hear. My daughter's going, great, Dad. Okay, so I know most people just aren't aware of like the exacting nature of reloading and live rounds too.
Mm-hmm.
And when you're talking about the weight of the type, like, do you know there's like a million different gunpowders too?
No.
Okay, well there are. And some of them are very specific and they look completely different than other ones.
Okay.
So of the two types that Joe said he loaded 2 years ago, he goes, I would probably use Trail Boss and the other one is whatever. And I don't even know. And I said, okay, I go, well, what do they look like? Knowing that some of them are rods, some are flakes, some are balls. And he goes, well, this one looks like a donut and it's gray. It has a hole in the center. Right? Yeah. So it's the burn rates and other, there's a whole bunch of things that they do. And for reloading, big deal. It's just like, well, whatever you can get your hands on at the time. If you can get a bunch of Trail Boss, well, then you're going to burn that stuff up and save other powder for other purposes, right? So it would have been loaded to, historically, it's 28 grains for period-specific weapons, which 28 grains is like a fraction, not even, I mean, it's such a small amount weight-wise and it wouldn't just been 28. It would have been 29.2, which 0.1 of a grain is so light that if you breathe on the scale, it'll register more than 0.1 of a grain. If fluorescent lights, will affect the weight of the scale.
Really?
Yeah, so if you have a box and a half that went from Joe Swanson to Thale to a sheriff, and then the other stuff went to a judge, it's a pretty good chain of custody, and it's going to be, and he knows confidently that, that's the stuff I got through Thale from Joe Swanson, and he has it, and he's not ditching it, right? Because nobody's like, if the chain of custody is Hannah, then that's a problem. Or Thale, it's, and then, and if she was shooting, I don't know if you've actually been able to get any statements.
We haven't had anyone come forward.
Really? Not even the Teamster?
Well, that has, confirmed that was actually happening.
So he's saying, I'll come in and talk, but he hasn't, or?
I know that there's a couple, of the camera crew members that were, but we have had, from everybody that we have interviewed, we have had no one that has confirmed that there was any target shooting or anything of the sort happening.
You're kidding me. Well, big deal, then she did it before. It still doesn't matter. She didn't do her job. So it's like, well, we're in for a penny and for a pound on this whole thing. Let's see. There you go. August starts here. Sunday, August 15th.
The truck door. Who is this from?
What do you think? Just keep reading.
And what is the trapdoor?
Trapdoor is a rifle.
Okay.
And that one was not a reproduction. It was an original pre-1900 gun.
Okay. This was back in August.
Right.
So she was trying to shoot.
She wanted to shoot live ammo out of the guns, the TV movie guns, and I said, no effing way, obviously.
Yeah.
And then she acknowledged, and then down below, right, you did see where she said, okay, fine, I'm going to shoot him out of mine now.
Yeah.
Okay, so,
What does she own?
She owns a 45 Long Colt of a Single Action Army. It's a reproduction.
But she owns it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, remember in the interview, she said, oh, my dad gave me a something for Christmas.
Yeah, no, she hasn't talked about a gun that she gave, but she had said something about not really shooting 45.
Did you listen to the interview with her? The Western one?
Oh, no.
Oh, yeah.
I thought you were talking about my interview.
No.
She didn't mention that in my interview.
No, I'll send it to you.
Yeah, she had talked about not really shooting 45s, and that she...
Bloody liar.
Only really shoots 22.
Oh, my God. Just who are these people that have no sense of guilt over this shit? This is crazy.
So her dad gave her a 45.
Yeah, she says it in the interview. I'll send it to you. It's painful to listen to. Let's see.
When was that interview done?
In the last couple of months.
Okay.
In between the Nick Cage movie and the start of the next one. What was that? I sent it to a few people. Who did I send it to? Who sent it to me? John Navarro.
Well, that's interesting.
Yeah, here it is.
Does she typically carry that with her everywhere?
She's got a Walter P22 and and some piece of crap Jensen nickel-plated thing that she bought, which is a total ghetto gun. I'm like, are you kidding me? Who was I with? I was with Peter, and I forced him to listen to it like three times in a row. Hold on. Oh, yeah, here. Okay. Hold on, let me see. Yeah, here it is.
He used to be a pretty bad guy. Like, he would go around killing people mercilessly, but then he fell in love with a woman, I guess.
Talking about the Nick Cage movie.
Regular bullets too, so I always try to, in order to make it look more realistic, tell the actors to create a little bit of recoil with their wrist.
Well, let me ask you this then, because it is one of the things that people sometimes see in the...
It goes on for an hour. But in this interview, she took... That's me.
Just have earned, done nothing but earned respect during that. But I will say this doesn't really happen a lot, you know?
Arizona, we'll go out in the desert and I'll show you how to shoot that thing.
I'm some Irish with
you'll get it. You know, yeah. Of them, just the care and maintenance. And, I mean, it's, you know, essentially the same thing as when you shoot, you know, it's got a cartridge, but it's just a lot more fun. Harry owns a Cannon. Yeah, I have three Cannon actually. 1860s swap rifle.
Like a big cannon?
Yeah, well, it's not that big, but it's the kind of cannon that would have been found aboard a pirate ship on a... Harry used to be a pirate. Yes, I've done pirate reenacting in Civil War.
Okay, yeah, if that's what we're talking about, fuck yeah, I want to see the cannon.
Yeah, I mean, it is...
Maybe into the neighbor's house, I don't know.
Maybe into the neighbor's house?
Wow.
Take a trip down to Arizona, we'll go out in the desert and I'll show you how to shoot that thing.
I'm some Irish whiskey,
you'll get his attention. You know, yeah, it'll power a golf ball about a mile. You know, that's what it's for is a golf ball.
Oh, hell yeah.
I wouldn't want to be hit by a golf ball, hit by a club, and definitely not when firing from a cannon. So I got that, and I got a smaller cannon, and got three pistols, two 344s, and a 36 caliber, and my Zouave rifle. So.
Nice. I have a potato cannon too. I'll bring this.
Okay, so she already said back a little bit further.
Yeah, my late son-in-law brought me a package of golf balls. He says, "Here, Dad, there's some ammo for you." Do you do your own loading?
Like loading all these guns?
Yeah, I mean, you know, like
cartridge loading. She doesn't do loading.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, I load all. Oh no, I don't load the blanks.
No, I know.
I get all my stuff from Joe Swanson.
Yeah. Are you a hunter? You go out hunting?
A hunter? No, not really.
No.
No, that never.
Hannah's other passion is motorcycles. Oh, really?
She talks about her.
It's pretty cool. My buddies on this one said that they were doing the next Nick Cage movie, and they already had an armor for that, but they.
And he was like, he'd been a senator, he was a cowboy. His brother was a top saddle broke rider. Cleve was just a cattleman.
At least he went doing what he liked.
Yeah, he did. He had to be happy. He drowned but happy.
Right?
Doesn't sound good. Well, yeah,
Voices of the West.
I think you have not shot more black powder firearms because I think you'd really enjoy.
So in there, she says she's talking about getting a Ruger 9 mm.
I mean, it's essentially the same thing as.
And she says that she's got a Walther, and then their dad gave her a 45 long Colt for Christmas.
Yeah.
And a bunch of other stuff that.
Yeah, I have two cannons.
You and your cannon. You gotta listen to it. So I sent you the link. Yeah. So So the only way I think we're going to be able to, I don't know, I mean, depending on what comes back, if they test the live ones and the grain matches, the grain and the powder matches exactly, along with the bullet weight, then you've got something, you know, especially if these things have got, one of them, the live one's got Sales prints on it or hers. I mean,
yeah, and I don't think it's more determining the print, because, I mean, anybody could have touched these at this point. Like,
it's true.
It's not really, I don't think it's going to hold that much weight doing that kind of stuff. It's just a matter of if these, you know, do match the ones that he has, then at least, you know, we can track back to where they came from. If not, then...
Exactly. Well, then, I mean, then we know it went from Joe Swanson, Dale, to the sheriff, and then, or it's not the same batch. You never find Starline brass with that specific powder, with that grain weight, is just the possibilities that they're out there.
So does he have, like, and he doesn't have the composition of what?
Well, the powder lots too should vary.
Mm-hmm.
Like the FBI, they should be able to say that comes from the same powder lot, because it's 2 years ago too. They might have changed it since then.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, who would have, you know, call the guys at Starline and say, who's been loading your stuff with, you know, who loads your stuff for live ammo? There's just no way. It's when you're talking about 1/10 of a grain and the powder, and circumstantial, but still, it's pretty compelling.
Yeah.
You know, because
I'm like, and then the thing with those is, I'm like, even these have like hammer strikes on them.
Yeah, I mean.
I don't.
Yeah. Yeah. So those are, well, I mean, those get used on set.
So they could.
Like, like what ALEC Baldwin was doing.
Yeah.
Okay, so, but instead, ideally, she had this thing, you know, Sarah was like, what's the point of using fresh dummy rounds if they're going to be dropping a hammer on them? Because then you've got a dented primer, and then it's no longer as valuable as a round that's intact. Because this you can put in a cartridge belt, or you can show the actor loading it, or you could, you know, have him spinning the cylinder and then catching, you know, them going around. If they're punched, well, then that's just spent. But if they're punched, you know, and they have to have a rattle, though, too, even if they're punched.
Right.
Because otherwise you might just have a bad live round. And maybe it takes one more hit to initiate the primer. So
I guess my thing is he willing to at least let us take some of those?
You can have the entire box in half.
For comparison.
Yeah.
That way.
If you had your boss call his boss, and you guys are happy with that, he's in Bullhead City, Arizona.
He's in Arizona.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Is that where all these are? Like the, you know, where these are packaged? Is it in Arizona?
It's in Kingman. Joe Swanson's place. He's got his shop is an hour east of Kingman.
Okay.
So he works at his shop, brings everything back to his house, and then packages it up there.
Okay.
But
does he work for a company, or how would we get hold of him?
Joe Swanson is the guy. He probably won't. He'd be like, you know, he won't like want to talk to you guys. He'd be like, you know. And I don't think there's any. I mean, we could get him on the speakerphone, and that would probably be the way to do it. Is just to get him to talk with me on the phone with him.
Okay.
Because he'd be like,
it's more just saying like I said, I don't foresee it coming back to him. It's more just figuring out, like, if these, or, you know.
He's not going to be able to, I mean, he just.
I think the only way that we can do that, though, is sending it to get
analyzed. Yeah, for sure. I mean, well, find out how you want to handle the rounds that the sheriff has.
That we have?
No. That the sheriff has in Arizona. The individual sheriff, not the department. The individual that has the same rounds that would have been this or any other Starline brass with, that are loaded.
What sheriff?
The sheriff guy that got them from Thale, the sheriff individual. How you want to secure those? I mean, you don't want to have to like get a warrant. I mean, what chain of custody would you be happy with in the investigation to get a hold of them?
I mean, like I said, it's just, figuring out who to contact first and what they're going to let us do.
Well, just as far as, he's willing to give them up. He doesn't want Hannah had a hand in this. It's like, he arrested Dale's son for something, like felony arrest for something. He's like, do bad, get in trouble. So it's the same thing. He's like, if I could help the investigation, absolutely.
The sheriff?
Yep.
What's it,
Troy.
Troy what?
Troy. I think it was Troy DeFuzz Teskey, I think his last name was.
And he's in Arizona too?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Let's see.
So does he have them, or does...
He has them. He has a box and a half that came from the same batch that Joe made 2 years ago.
I'm surprised he even still has them.
I know. Teskey.
Okay.
Let's call him Troy DeFuzz Teskey.
And he's still currently sheriff? Do you know which department?
Bullhead City. Yeah. Wait, is he sheriff? I think that's the sheriff's department.
Hey, Seth.
Hey, buddy. You're on speaker with Alex from Santa Fe Sheriff's Department, the investigator. That.
Well, I'm
Don't lawyer up on me, dude.
I'm at lunch with everybody right now.
Oh, whatever. Okay, buddy. Well, I'll talk to you later about it.
Are you
About that thing. I just,
okay.
need to get that thing from you.
Serious? Are you with somebody?
Yeah, I'm with somebody.
Okay. All right.
Yeah. All right, call me later. All right, thanks.
We're done?
All right, bye.
Okay.
Like, I'm at lunch.
With everybody, so I'm like probably the judge and somebody else in the background too. Even if Dale was there and his wife, it wouldn't matter. Troy would still give him up.
Yeah.
Like, he's not gonna not.
Oh, I'm sure
Help.
he if he's in law enforcement, I'm sure he absolutely understands. But yeah, I think if we could at least send them out to get tested,
Yeah.
then at least that would solve the question of this. And if it wasn't putting blame on this camera crew that...
Oh, right. Yeah, like it's everybody else's fault? Wait, what are you saying?
Well, yeah, because, they had that camera crew that walked off the night before.
Mm-hmm.
So we can positively say, yeah, they didn't have possession of these or plant them.
Oh, somebody's offered that one up.
Yeah.
That's the thing. Nobody would ever be able to. They'd have to, right. Well, it doesn't matter. She still didn't do her job. You have to assume that people are going to plant stuff and things are going to get mixed in.
Right.
Okay?
As you should, handling.
Yeah. And the AD is not supposed to do what he did at all. People are horrified with what he did. Totally unacceptable. So it's like, tracking this stuff down. It's compelling, yeah. And the fact that it's Starline Brass, and I wasn't sure what you were asking me exactly. If you said that this is the case that shot the bullet, right, this is the one, I would have gone, well, that's really odd.
Well, and that's the thing is, really right now we can't, it's suspected until it comes from the lab. So yeah, as far as what we say, all right, well, this is obviously the only one on top of the cart that's missing its projectile, has a hammer strike.
Mm-hmm. And then, the residue. The residue is going to be in there because Joe, when he makes dummy rounds, they're brand new cases.
Mm-hmm.
And if it were a blank, if it were even just a prime case, that would be different too. Okay, there are prime cases, but interesting, there were prime cases in the in with the dummy rounds, right? Prime cases are used when you just need a super small effect. You can put like flour, foot powder, anything in there, and put a little piece of tape on it and stick it in the gun and use it. Like I could shoot between me and you, and it would be, that's a little bit close, but you get the big puff of smoke, which is the right effect.
Mm-hmm.
So, and prime cases are good for rehearsals and stuff like that, if we want to do that. Training, too.
Is that different from the blank?
Yeah, because it's just the case and the primer, and there's no added gunpowder in there at all.
So it literally, it's just because of the hitting
Just
of
the
the
primer.
hammer.
Yep, the primer goes off, right? That normally it's the primer that initiates the gunpowder going off through the flash hole in there. So, but yeah, prime cases are like just a good training tool and things like that. So there were a number of prime cases that I gave to Sarah, and I'd be interested to see what color primers those have.
Okay.
Right? Because
and it would pretty much just look like this, though.
it would look just like that.
I don't remember any of those.
They were there. Unless they got used up.
Maybe.
They might have gotten used up, or they might have been 5-in-1 PC. If it were 5-in-1 PC, it wouldn't have been that, which is better for us, of resolving this little nightmare, right? So if that's the case, let me look. I can, without you even going into all your stuff. Sarah, 2. Blank ammunition, dummy round, noise, got it right here. Oh, and I have a picture of it too. I have a picture of what I wrote down. Bummer, it does say 45 LCPC. That's a bummer. Yeah. 300 of them.
So it was applied to them?
But chances are that they'll all have the same color primer, and hopefully that's brass instead of nickel, right? Separate that between the two.
Yeah, I think we're definitely well over 600 rounds at this point.
Yeah, easily, because I supplied 9, 3, 8, let's see, that's 2,000, 24, 26, 27, 28, 29, 3,000 rounds at least.
Just to this production.
Blanks. And then that was it. Because I gave them an initial batch, and then they were shooting up. They wanted more half loads, instead of quarters for some reason. I forgot. I don't know what the justification was, the reasoning. If you have horses or kids, use quarter loads nearby. And then if you're outside at daytime, use fulls.
Mm-hmm.
And then interior is typically quarters. So typically it's quarters and fulls. For some reason they were going half, which is just, who knows at the distances and everything. So, all right, so circling back, and then the ballistics. So this would have modern. It's going to have this. They're going to be able to definitively tell you that this is the round, absolutely, because it's not going to be just have primer residue in the case. Oh no, it's just one of the other prime cases that went off. The rest of these all have 777 powder, which is a black powder synthetic substitute, or they're black powder, right? This is going to be modern smokeless powder. So definitely, definitively, the FBI will be able to identify that as the round, without a doubt, and match that to whatever's in the barrel. You know what I mean?
Right.
So,
And that's really what we have to wait for to make that call. But as far as now, evidence leads that this was it.
But it just kind of helps you guys, at least focus on. I mean, it's just a matter of time.
Right. Well, and then if we figure out if this was the same, you know, if it was manufactured by
Joe.
and then,
Mm-hmm.
you know, it leads us away from the camera crew.
Yeah, that's what camera crews do.
They're the only ones that,
That's ridiculous.
you know, to this point have.
Absolutely ridiculous. I know you have to eliminate it, you know, but it's silly is what it is.
But of course, everybody's going to want.
I just don't know why she just doesn't come forward and say realistically and that nobody could disagree with her on the fact that working set as hell, like, you know, it's high school all over again, but the stakes are much higher. There's just, and it sounds like that David Hall's guy was a real piece of work doing what he's doing, you know. I could told, you know, I mean, just, she could have gotten beat down. I mean, she really could have.
She's young? I mean.
Yeah. She could have got pushed around and just been like, that's why she wasn't even there at the cart. As I understand it, I keep reading like weird, I don't read everything, but the LA Times came out and said, had an article that she brought the gun into David Hall's. But I had read that there was an affidavit that he picked it up off the prop cart.
And I don't even think that was mentioned in any affidavit.
Yeah, I mean, there's articles, so it's all over the place.
Yeah.
I mean, you can't trust anything. So.
Yeah, it's hard if they're not like direct quoting what we actually put in the affidavit.
Right. Yeah, I mean, so I'm like, well, I don't know. I mean, I want to help, you know. But I wish she would just come forward. She thinks she's going to get away with this, and it's like, you guys are negligent, both of you, for different reasons.
I mean, and that's my thing is it, you know, if you're looking at this box and loading from this box, obviously, you know, if it came from there, I think it's pretty easy to see that the difference in color, but that would kind of be a little bit of an alarm in my head.
Right. So, well, that is making sense. So if we assume, okay, that's the one that went bang, then there's another one over here for the nickel primer. Yeah, and nothing about this, I don't like anything about this, like looking at it. The fact that, is that another nickel one right there? Were there two?
I think it was just, no, I think it was just that one, and then this one was in there. Okay.
So, and then suspected non-rattling rounds found in other locations as well, like her kit and stuff. Oh yeah, that's that one.
Yeah.
Okay. So non-rattling rounds were found elsewhere.
Right.
Okay.
But like I said, now knowing like this one obviously didn't rattle,
right.
so we're trying to figure out what that is.
The Denix
so
one.
It could be.
And the only way that this happens is if you're commingling your leather and you go out and you shoot and you. I mean, okay, if you weren't into 45 long Colt, would you have your own holster and leather thing that you did? Would you practice drawing if you weren't into it? Would there be videos of that? You didn't find any videos of her drawing?
I looked for like TikTok videos and.
Have they not gotten back to you, like the Facebooks of the world with the information?
So they don't reach out to us. We would have to reach out. Do you have any of Hannah's social media?
No, I'm not on any of it. I don't.
So and then there's the other thing is that I'm not finding her social media.
Oh, really? Well, what do you have to hide? Why would you turn it off? Well, I'll tell you, there's all kinds of videos and stuff for this routine. Yeah, I've seen like the photos and stuff. One of them, I think, is her gun. But it's a matter, you know, if I don't have, or if nobody knows of any of her social media platforms, you know, Snapchat, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok. And you're not able just to, you're not able to get warrants for that information, for that electronic information? So I'd have to have her, like, user account. Oh, you're kidding me. What a pain in the ass. No wonder she thinks she's going to get away with it.
So, I mean, if I had something that said, like, this is her account, or somebody that says, like, yeah, this was her Facebook, I mean, trust me, we've looked.
And you haven't been able to find it? Not even in, like, the history of...
So if she deletes the account,
Really?
I can't. If I can find a username, like an old username, like say if somebody screenshotted her, like URL,
Mm-hmm.
you know, your URL is very specific to the person. The username is specific to you. But if I can't locate any of that, then it does me no good. And that's why I think I had searched for an Instagram and it was deleted. But,
What a dirtbag.
you know, with that being said,
here we go. And you can't look it up on different email addresses and stuff like that. Troy to Fuzz. Troy. Okay, you're back on speaker. Yeah, I'm serious, dude. What?
You're serious? I'm serious?
No, I'm serious. Yeah, of course. Yeah, I'm with Alex. Say hi, Alex.
hello.
This is Alex. She's with the Santa Fe
Hello,
Sheriffs. Yeah.
Oh,
And Troy, you're with Bullhead Sheriff's Department, right? Bullhead City.
Bullhead City Police.
City Police. It's not a sheriff's thing. Okay.
No.
Okay. So the box and a half of ammo.
The box.
The box and of the reloads that came. What do you
I
have?
have two boxes.
Two boxes. And
And they're full. I mean, one is taped shut. It hasn't even been opened. The other one I opened, and I don't believe I took any rounds out of it. I think it's still completely full.
But when I talked to Joe, he said he did it in bulk.
Did what in bulk?
He just made the rounds and gave them to Thale, and that was that. Like, he would just put them in a bag or a box or something.
Well, it may have been a ammo can.
So then who boxed them up?
I don't know. Those just came. Those are given to Thel. And Thel just gave them to me because I have a better house for safety purposes.
But are they? And they are in the all white boxes, right?
Well, cardboard. They're cardboard boxes. Now, the ammo. I still have some blanks. In the all white boxes, the small all white boxes.
Yeah. So the live rounds aren't in the all white boxes, and they're just jumbled in like a box of cardboard, like, and you can guess there like 100 in there in each box, or what?
They come in different ways. I've seen them in a big ass army metal.
Yeah, ammo can. Yeah.
I've seen that, and then I've seen them in these cardboard boxes that are about, I don't know, 3 inches high, 5 inches wide.
So how many rounds did you get from?
And they're just taped shut.
And that was a couple of years ago. Like hold on, my daughter's calling. Hold on. So how many and you got them from Thale a couple of years ago?
Well, I didn't get them. I take care of his stuff. Because I have a
Oh, right.
So he brings me stuff and say, hey, hang on to this. He's not giving them to me. He's just letting me. I just watch him.
Yeah.
I guard them basically.
Right, I'm with you.
Because his house is not all that secure, so he brings them to my house.
Right.
Brings stuff, things like that.
I got you. Can I have some of them?
Well, actually, can I have some of them?
What?
They belong to Thel.
So we need a warrant to get them?
To get them.
Yeah.
You want to take all the rounds I have?
I want a dozen of them. Yeah, give me a dozen of those rounds. You know, Sal owes me $3,000, right? I want some of those rounds.
Well, you gotta run that through by him, not through me.
He's never gonna give them up, dude.
Ask him. Well, they don't belong to me.
I'm with you. All right. It's all right. It's just a 42-year-old woman that's dead.
Well, yeah.
So those rounds are were made of the same batch that were found amongst Hannah's shit.
There's no way you'd be able to never figure that out.
Yeah, you would. Yeah, you would. Put your FBI hat on, dude. If it's a certain powder and of an exact certain weight, grain, right? And then they can analyze the powder. It was the batch that was made a couple of years ago. It's going to be different than what they're making today.
Well, I don't know exactly when those things were made.
A couple of years ago.
Well, I don't. I think I've gotten those since a couple of years. I don't think they're that old. The ones in the ammo can might be that old.
The last time Joe gave Sale any rounds, it was 2 years ago.
Oh, it was? Okay.
Yep. And Joe's got a really good memory. I have to ask him what I'm forgetting.
Okay.
But, yeah, I mean, pretty much we're trying to narrow down exactly, you know, if what was used matches the composition of those, then at least we can, you know, say this is where it came from.
Oh, so you haven't proven that it came from Joe?
No, well, I mean, it's really, the brass is really weird. It's, you know, it's Starline brass. Nobody makes ammo out of Starline brass. I mean, it's just such an uncommon thing. You just don't find it, right? It's got a star, and then an arc, and then a star.
Okay. So you just want to see if these rounds have that star line, if they're made out of the star line deals?
Yeah.
Well, I could look at one and tell you.
Well, no, of course. Yeah, send it. Will you send me a picture? Because if they're not that, then there's no point. We're talking about apples and scarves.
Yeah, if they're not, then I mean that's
yeah. Yeah, we can take a pic. Huh? What?
Where is the star on this thing?
You'll see it. You'll see it's opposite. It says 45 Colt on one side, and on the opposite side it has the star, the arc, and then the star.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. If you can take a picture, that'd be awesome, dude.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
I can do that.
All right. Thanks, mate.
Sure.
All right. Bye.
See you later.
All right. Cool. Because then he's like, I'm like, dude, fucking, why do you give a shit about protecting your buddy's dirtbag daughter?
well.
I mean,
I guess
I mean, I've got the world's fastest gun that ever lived that I'm about to piss off. The guy is scary fast.
Yeah.
Even at 78. He's like freaky fast. He's the last living original combat master. I mean.
And then, that's really as he said, those are the options. It's pretty much either, let's say it does look like these, and.
Copy. Okay, I'm gonna look right now because I wonder if she hired somebody to scrub her. Okay, so I've got a funky email. Do you have Hannah's email address?
No.
Okay, I'm doing a search.
Which I think you should have been in on those threads with ALEC Baldwin, right?
What threads?
With him picking up guns.
What threads? What?
Hannah was emailing ALEC about his gun choices.
No, I've never talked to ALEC. I've never been in the thing.
In the.
Mm-mm. No, I mean it's. She was trying to. Why is it coming up in Spanish? Yeah, buddy. Hey.
Hey, just in case you're sitting around waiting for a picture
and
not at home, it's going to take us an hour and a half maybe to get home.
Boring. I'm not going to wait around the police station for you to do that, though.
No, you can.
Unless they've got a cocktail hour here.
I wish. So I guess my thing is, so they still belong to her dad.
How long did he leave with you? I think I'm sensing an abandonment here.
I don't know. I don't know. Every week he comes in and I don't know how the boxes he gave to me at some point, and I didn't think it was 2 years ago, but the ammo can comes and goes. We used to take it up shooting all the time.
I got you. All right. Well, just in an hour and a half time, if you can just snap a picture, because otherwise it's like if it comes up like Federal or Winchester or whatever, then there's no point. But
well, I'll take a picture of whatever it is and then send it to you. But I'm just saying.
Right. I mean,
or if he has any of those like these.
And that's what they are.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
I got you.
So I don't want you guys waiting around for this picture.
I think you should arrest.
Shopping.
I think if you arrest Hannah, then you just you'd punch that ticket, right? Arrest his son and his daughter. That'd be awesome.
No, I really don't want to do that.
I know you don't.
I knew it was going to happen this last week. It was my beat that she was in.
Oh, what happened?
Fuck, here I go.
What happened?
No, that's where she was.
Oh, she was in your area. Why did you? All right.
I just have news crews running around.
Okay.
And me sending you guys out there.
Comment from everybody.
Right. Yeah.
So if you have any that match that star line, though, can you
just take a
respond to them?
they might be mixed in there because if they're reloads, dude, they're going to be mixed in all the cases. Okay.
Well, one I haven't even opened. One is open and it's full.
Okay. All right. Well, let's
search through that.
Yeah. Shoot me a picture. All right. Thanks, buddy.
Do you remember Starline? All right.
Yeah.
Sounds good.
All right. Thanks, bud. Bye.
Bye.
Hold on. Let me see. Okay. It's important, but are you working? Talking to investigation for the meet.
So how did this come up to where, like, this Donnie?
Because it's really an uncommon. Starline is not out there. And it was like, wait a second. Hold on, let me think. Okay. I'm not going to tell him he's on speaker, but I'm going to call him. Hold on. Joe Swanson.
Hello.
Hey, buddy. Not much. Super quick question for you. What box, that took a couple of years when you gave sale at ammo, what box did you put it in? Was it a cardboard box or was it?
No, it was he gave me an ammo can.
Okay. Okay. An ammo can. All right. Let me call you back a little bit later.
Okay.
Okay, bye. Shit. Well, she still didn't do her effing job.
You know how many rounds you made in total?
He said about 700.
Okay. Yeah. I think.
Shit. I'm like, oh my God. Well, I mean, still Troy.
I mean, we can always get a warrant to seize it. That's not.
Let's let him take a picture, and
If it is.
and then.
Has he made any since then?
No.
So
Two years. Yeah, it's pretty. But what I think Troy is saying is that ammo kind of comes and goes,
right.
and that's just the way that Dale is. But
Even if
I have
one.
Dale's fingerprints. I mean, on all over a binder. And if Dale's fingerprints are on these live rounds, then you know that the film. Well, somebody would have to. Let's see.
But the thing is, if they've been hounded by so many people,
Yeah, you're right.
then it would just be really hard to pull DNA or fingerprints if that's the case. I mean, it's not impossible, but I mean, we have multiple.
You know what's funny is I'm gonna find her social media. There's just no way. She has to have said it or done something.
Yeah, I'm still looking in hopes. But if someone has their email, that email may have been used.
Right, which I have, and I'll send to you.
To set up an account.
Yeah.
Sure you don't want to just become a cop?
No. You kidding? All my cop buddies are like, they're all at LAPD.
Yeah.
And one of my childhood friends, he was a PO, and yeah, I mean, they're all like, oh, we're done.
I hate you.
It's going to be out there somewhere. It's
your school email.
Unless she hired like a cleaning crew to like purge all of her information off the internet. Yeah, that is weird. Looks like she's got a middle name, HMG.
Yeah.
What else was I thinking? So I can find out. Yeah, like, a disgruntled camera crew. They'd have to have loading equipment and everything. It's just ridiculous.
Because pretty much it'd be weird for them to be making this.
But it still doesn't matter. They didn't have custody of the gun. She still didn't do her job, and the AD didn't do his job. It still doesn't matter. Like, we just assume, like I was saying, we just assume that.
Yeah. I mean, and unfortunately with investigations, there are times that you don't answer every question.
Right.
But we try.
I hate these kinds of problems. You can't quite be like, oh, we're just missing that one, or there's like a variable in there.
That one.
Yeah. So the shot round, 2 live rounds on the cart.
Possibly.
Oh, wait a minute. Well, why is that one not in this picture? You've got here, but then you've got 2 rounds over here.
They're just like thrown on the cart.
On the cart?
Yeah, not in the box.
May I?
Yep.
Okay. Well, so they would need, okay, so if you were the camera crew and you wanted to, send a little going away present, you'd need to get a dummy round. You'd have to punch the primer. Okay, so that's the question we didn't know is what the prime cases that I sent to them, if the primers were nickel or they were brass, right? So that would be important to know. Because then if you somehow gained access to those things, that would be the easiest thing to do, is to get those. You could also get, you could get a hold of some blanks, cut them open, put the powder in there, and then use a hammer or something, or even sidewalk and jam the bullet in there. And you got a round.
Oh, like somebody was manufacturing them?
Mm-hmm. Even on the cheap, even on the FU cheap. Like, you know, if I wanted to do that, I'd be like, oh yeah, I got this.
Yeah.
I can figure it out.
If camera crew had the knowledge to do that.
Right. Yeah, who would, yeah.
That's the other thing with it. They're carrying gunpowder around in their pockets.
Right, but chances are it's going to come back, it's going to come back as modern smokeless, not 777 or the black powder that is in those blanks. So, yeah. But these ones, bugger. She still didn't do her job. I'm wondering if there's a way, like even from the case lengths, bullet weights, things like that. I mean, these were loaded, there's no doubt these were loaded on a machine. Like, we'd see scarring on there, on the bullets. So they were properly loaded.
Okay.
So there's no way, and there's no way to say, like, oh yeah, we know she's gonna pick from this section when we've got this kind of crap going on.
Mm-hmm.
And certainly what Sarah's memory is not accurate, because I said, so the box was full. I asked her, I go, so the box was full, and, oh, maybe that's why those ones were just thrown on the cart, because she rattled them.
And then maybe just...
And then she was like, these aren't rattling. Set them, throw them aside. So, where did she start from? So that's...
So, 1, 2, 3, 6.
1, 2, 3, leaving 3 spaces here, but this is crazy too. Huh. Yeah, she's not coming forward. She thinks she's going to outsmart this thing, delete all her social media. You haven't seen any videos or anything, huh?
Nothing. I've found like one TikTok of her.
What is she doing?
She's like, I think in her bedroom or something of the sort, and there's like some hair flip.
My daughter giving me the bird? No.
And there may be other, I mean, there may have been other rounds on the top of, I think there was other rounds on the top of the cart. It's just, these guys were our primary focus.
You have to listen to the interview too. So,
What did that come off of? Or did she just send it to you like?
I took it.
Oh.
It was on the tail, and she were up prepping for the Nick Cage movie.
Okay.
Somewhere I'm thinking there's don't know, something she sent me. I haven't even read the text stream between the two of us. I'm just so like, you know.
Has she reached out to you at all since this?
No, not after she sent me the F-bomb laced text messages.
Was that after the incident?
It's before the incident.
Oh.
Yeah. Yeah.
What was that about?
She was just being an idiot. I wanted Sarah to get rid of her. You know, I was like, she's not doing what she's supposed to do. Not on the gun side, it was on the prop side. And I'm like, it's bullshit. She's got 5 days when the guns go bang. What is she doing the rest of the time? And like, she wasn't helping Sarah, like, even like run and grab stuff. And I'm like, Sarah was just like overly nice. I'm like, dude, get rid of her. We'll find you another armor. You know? So
was she mad that you were...
Well, what happened was when Sarah had the accidental discharge, which, by the way, she did not shoot herself in the foot. I called her this morning. I'm like, did you shoot yourself in the foot? She goes, no. She's like, I think I pulled the mag out, like I could feel it, you know. Okay. So what it was is that she was trying to take advantage of that situation to, like, punch down on Sarah to say, oh, I don't even think they're going to have you handle the guns anymore. Like, they're not going to want to, you know, you had an accidental discharge.
Mm-hmm.
And she wanted to tell the producer, oh, you know, it was just, she was making a mountain out of nothing. And
do you know if Hannah loaded the gun when that accidental happened?
No, it was Sarah.
Okay.
She was loading it. And so basically I said, I'll tell you what I wrote her. And I was just tired of it because Sarah's like she's like a super gentle, she's like a Bambi. She's like the Bambi of the, you know, but she's also got a great work ethic. And Hannah's just kind of like, you know, rough and like, dude, just put it away, you know, attitude and the rest. And I'm like, you're not going to try to run over. I go, and I had to make it real clear, you know, hey, Sarah's your boss. Where is it? Anyway. I mean, if I think of anything relevant, of course, I'm going to share it with you,
okay.
Even if it's like...
So Sarah's like her boss, but she's not really, like, employed.
Well, it's like having, like, a pussy boss, right? You know, at the same time, yeah, she's not, yeah.
She's not her employer, though, and neither are you guys.
Exactly.
She's just licensed under you.
Yes. Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah. And this is how this is not, like, something I invented. This is something that's just been that the ATF came up with, and they're like, yeah, this is how we like it. God,
and she's not really employed by a company either. They're the full-time employees of the production company. But once that production's done, then
that's it.
She's done.
It's done. You're done. And then a lot of the film companies, they'll start up a company, do the project, and then kill the company, and then they'll start it up again. So as employees of all these different production companies, you never have the same employer. It's just like total gypsies.
Yeah.
This is October 16th. Sarah told me, or I misspelled it. I said, Sarah texted me she had an accidental discharge. Happens to everyone, move on. Like, you know, don't start punching down there. Move on, question mark. I'm not having a problem with it. It sure doesn't look good, though. And I said, accidents and mistakes happen. Accidental discharges are accidents. Mistake is where the armor provides a gun and a full load of ammo, to be fired with a horse in the vicinity. Will you tell production about that? We learn to move on, and don't forget, she's your boss. Don't push it. Like, you know, I'm just like, dude, I'm not going to put it. And then she just comes back with like a full F-bomb lace. And I'm like, yeah, we're done. Yeah.
And you couldn't, Sarah has to be the one to say, like, you're done. You couldn't.
Yeah, it's not really, it could have. I could have said she's not to touch, you know, PDQ inventory But the problem is that I was told she was doing a good job with the guns. Like the director and Sarah and everybody, she's like, no, she's really good with the guns. And I'm like, okay. And then I'm like, whatever. I mean, it's Hollywood. Everybody's got their own style. I mean, I've got mine, and she's Hannah certainly has hers, but because I don't really jive with a lot of the filmsters anyways.
Right.
You know, a lot of them are just, and they hate the gun guy too, usually. So, because they're like,
What's to be in
some
an
kind of
authoritative position?
I don't know what it is. Now it's like there's more fear than anything else on set.
Yeah.
Everybody wants to check the gun. I'm like, come on, let's go. All at once, please. Thank you. All right. Well, if I think of anything, I mean, once Troy sends me the picture.
Yeah, let me know when he gets back to you.
I think we're screwed if they're not Starline, we're screwed.
And that's what I think. He didn't give him any boxes or that one box. And he doesn't know, well, unless he can determine what he used to make them.
He can't remember. I mean, it was Trail Boss. I remember because it sounds cool. Trail Boss. Round flake, hole in the middle. And tight group, grain color, ball type. You gotta go.
No.
3:00.
Not yet. No, my day's never end.
Yeah, well, I wake up thinking about this stuff.
So that's one potential.
Yeah, if it's one of those two.
What is it, Trail Boss or what was the other one?
Trail Boss or Tight Group.
Tight Group. Trail Boss and Tight Group. Are those still companies that are producing?
Yeah, he would. Yeah, good point. See, there you go. Now you're thinking. Let's see. There's no doubt we can definitely 100% trust Joe's memory. There's no doubt about that. The guy's super sharp.
Okay.
He's 70-something years old, but like I said, I have to ask him, hey, what am I forgetting? I'll end up waking up in the middle of the night going, oh yeah, I got it, but I can't think of anything right now.
Okay. I'll let you do.
That definitely came from a previous show. Didn't come from Billy Ray, because Billy Ray sent out 3840 and 4440 dummy rounds.
But if this box looks like this.
And yeah, you know what? And look at the age. This thing's been beat to crap.
Yeah.
And it's had a bunch of stuff in and out of it. That's very telling as well. This box has been around. Yeah, and Billy Ray's were brand new. And the one I sent out looked fresh. But it could have happened between the point I sent it, if this is the kind of crap she was doing.
That's a little weird and tear on styrofoam for
Yeah, it is. It really is.
only a couple weeks, I would say.
Yeah, I mean, that's you hitting it against the cart right there and stuff like that. And the edges are all beat to crap. That one, too. The box that I sent out, that's the one, I'm like, oh, has the gaffer tape across it, and then my handwriting in blue Sharpie, at least on one of the sides. I don't know, so maybe, and I might have even flipped it around and wrote on the back side of the box, too.
Yeah, I think the big thing, though, is the fact that, obviously,
That's the
those
sell.
aren't common to...
It should have, that's another... Look at the rest of the box. The rest of the box are dummy rounds, and you put something that's obvious that really, and she might sit there.
Starline brass.
Yeah, and she might have said, "Oh, well, was under a lot of pressure and all this other crap." When she wasn't doing. I mean, there's that letter in her file about that.
In the statement she made.
No, about the fact that she wasn't doing her props work.
Oh.
She was hired as an assistant prop master, and she just wasn't doing it. So anyway, all right. So now I just want to sit down with a drink and see if I can figure out
her statement of the fact that she was hired to do, dual roles isn't really holding any weight because she wasn't helping Sarah.
She wasn't at all. I mean, I could, there's going to be stuff in my text message streams and things like that about Sarah starting the issue of it early on, being a problem early on.
Yeah. Well, hopefully Sarah will come in this week.
She said I talked to her this morning, and she said she's calling her attorney to say she wants to come in and talk. I'm like, dude, I told her, why are you getting an attorney? This is just you're wasting your money, It doesn't make any sense at all.
Yeah, and that's because she was gonna come in on Friday and speak with me, and then her attorney called me. So. We'll see when she.
Where did they put their social media? Where did they put it? It's crazy.
Yeah, that's another.
Okay, anything else for me? I didn't cry, so I didn't need that. I liked that I walked in. God, that's depressing.
Well, there's unfortunately many people who have during this whole thing, so might as well just keep it in here.
I'm not saying I haven't had nothing but dry eyes, but so.
All right. Well.